Can Wizards of the Coast employees engage in insider trading to gain some kind of monetary advantage based on the knowledge advantage that they have working at Wizards of the Coast? Examples of it happening in the past that we know of, and at the end, why we don't think that it's as pointed or as possible as others might have you believe.
Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat.
Big thanks to our sponsors that allow us to focus on the channel. Card Conduit, the best place to sell your cards online. TCG Players, the best place to buy them. Drip Shop, where you can find us twice a month giving away a lot of MTG product. Follow us over there. Dragon Shield for the best sleeves for your cards in the multiverse. MTG Stocks if you want to track some prices over time. And Mox Field for deck lists. And as always, Turn 1 Soul Rings to all of our patrons. You help us build this channel brick by brick. We've tried to have a lot of cool perks at any level you want to support us at over there. Go check out our Patreon and see if you want to get involved with our community on a deeper level. Insider trading. I think when that phrase gets brought up, people are thinking of market floors and men in white collars yelling at each other and Leonardo DiCaprio dancing like this. But mostly I think the term is just sort of thrown around as a catch-all for people acting on knowledge that they have ahead of other people. Because MTG cards aren't securities in and of themselves, acting on knowledge that you have isn't inherently illegal.
There's no money you could steal.
Really? And why are you people here?
It may not be illegal, but it is very against the rules at Wizards of the Coast. We've got ex-employees of WotC telling us that they've seen people fired for selling their cards or any Wizards products for cash or cash equivalent. They're very specific with that wording. Cash or cash equivalent is what they are not allowed to sell their MTG cards for over at Wizards of the Coast if you're an active employee. Now, obviously, there would be potentially a lot of ways to profit from this, and you can sort of understand why this pops up into people's mind. If you knew weeks in advance that a very expensive card is going to be banned, then you could go and sell that card outright. Every copy you've got, you've obtained for free, basically working at Wizards of the Coast. You could go and sell all your copies well in advance of the banning before that price tanks. Now, the opposite side of that would be true as well. If you know some new powerful card is going to get printed into standard or into a Horizon set where it's going to go into older formats immediately, and you knew some very scarce single strategy synergistic card from back in the day that is not going to get reprinted, potentially could skyrocket as a result of this card, maybe a commander getting printed, you could go and buy a few bricks of that card and then be able to resell them down the road after the new cards have come out and made that price skyrocket. We've even got examples that this has happened one way or another before. Paradox Engine is a great one. That was banned, but right before it was banned, Reddit users noticed suspicious market behavior of those cards being sold for really low prices. Like if that card, let's say, was around $40, suddenly there were a lot of them listed at like 25 bucks, priced to move. That is a price that you set it at. You don't set it at like 35 just because I want to beat every available option. 25 bucks is like, I need these to move and quick. I need these to sell because we are right on the edge of a ban of this card. And it's not just in paper. On MTGO, we had a major seller of MTGO cards, seller and buyer, GoatBots, tweet about strange movement of prices of cards getting purchased up in mass right before a set came out. We had the Return to Dominaria recently, and Liliana of the Veil and Painlands both got reprinted in that. And there were a lot of copies sold on MTGO, like a lot, prior to those cards being spoiled that they were going to be in standard now. GoatBots actually took all of their data and sent it over to WotC because they were like, we're pretty sure this looks like fraud. And so you've got other companies that sort of handshake and work in tandem with Wizards to prevent this sort of thing from happening. I think the biggest one that I remember living through was right before Pioneer was announced. It seemed like somebody knew that there was a new format, a new major format that was coming down the pipe. We had people that were moving cards that were going to be legal in that format very quickly, very suddenly, and in a heavy volume right before Pioneer was announced. The most recent thread on this on Reddit, I'll link in the pinned comment, but Bill Stark, a former WotC employee, came into that thread and started talking about the different company policies and the different risks that were associated with employees doing this, having seen employees get fired for selling WotC products for cash or cash equivalent during his time there. He was able to speak to it with a lot of specificity. Bill said that because the punishments for these are so severe and all of these things are tracked with such scrutiny, that a lot of times it's just easier for WotC employees to trade the products and cards that they get during their tenure there for equal value, not for cash. Bill was very specific, and this was kind of surprising to me, and it's very out there, so I know that WotC's aware it's happening. On Bill's website, he's very straight up with former WotC employees and current WotC employees. He will buy your cards off of you. Anything you accumulate while you're working there, Bill, through his company, will purchase off of you if you're a former employee. If you're a current employee, he's got instructions. He said, look, we'll price out your collection. We'll see what you've got, what you want to sell, if it's some, a crazy single like a Heroes of the Realm card, or if it's your entire everything you've gotten, including physical merchandise like backpacks and jackets and stuff. We'll give it a value, and then we'll figure out what you want to receive for it. He outlined that he sent somebody camping equipment, like they valued their collection at $300 to $400. Bill was like, okay, what camping equipment do you want from Amazon? Sent it straight to their house. There was no cash traded. It was just some tents. And they were able to, the WotC employee, get rid of their cards while they were still an employee and receive the camping equipment that they wanted. Bill also went on in another comment to highlight a WotC program that he described as very strict but present for employees to make a case that they need the money, that they have some issue in their personal life, so they can go to WotC, they can make their case, they can list exactly what they are trying to sell, and then basically WotC's involved in the entire process. So that channel also exists, though we have no idea how often that's actually used. So through Bill's comments and his website, I was able to really glean a lot of information that already makes me question why a WotC employee would want to try and make money off of this in a pointed way. Then I start seeing sales of some of these Heroes of the Realms cards. Heroes of the Realm cards, if you're not familiar, are specifically designed for certain team members over at Wizards of the Coast upon successful completion of a project. Say it's a set release or a secret layer release. It could even be celebrating a new position or maybe a retirement, but employees at Wizards of the Coast are able to receive these Heroes of the Realm cards that are frequently designed pretty powerful. I've got a whole short series here on the channel that breaks down the cards individually and like their playability and how strong they might be. So go check those out if you want to see them. We won't get into the specific cards here. But what you should know is that my sources say that those cards are frequently selling for 5 figures, very often in the teens. According to those sources, we've never seen one sell for 6 figures yet, but we have had high 5 figures, with the most often sales happening in the teens of thousands. So I see these Heroes of the Realm cards going out for employees, and you know that some people with longer tenure have a stack of them that could be a nice little retirement package, or at least a really sweet end of career bonus. I see that, and then I see Bill outlining, the way that they are allowed to trade for other cards or physical goods of equal value, as long as it's not cash or cash equivalent like a gift card, and even finding out that WotC has at least one avenue to go down officially if you decide that you just need to sell some of this stuff and turn it into cash. I wonder why you would even need to, in a pointed way, try and profit off of any advanced knowledge when it would put all that at risk. But look, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. All I'm saying is that I don't think employees, it's in their best interest to specifically be like, oh, I know that Goblin Ding Dong is coming down the pipe. Goblin Ding Dong is going to make all the goblins in Modern way more powerful. thanks, Goblin Ding Dong. I'm going to go buy a bunch of goblins, wait 6 months, and then I'm going to resell all my goblins because you know Goblin Ding Dong is going to be tearing up the tournament charts, baby. The amount of hoops that you would have to jump through acquiring those cards, fencing, selling them through someone else so that there's no traceable way that you were involved whatsoever, I just don't see that happening. But I do think that this happens. WotC employee goes out to dinner with a trusted friend. Now, you can't tell anybody this, but Goblin Ding Dong is coming down the pipe and all the goblins are about to pop, baby. So that friend is like, you got it. I will not use that information for evil. But they're hanging out on Discord. Oh, man. You know, I got that insider info over at WotC. Y'all don't do anything with this because you'll blow up my spot. But Goblin Ding Dong, dude, coming down the pipe. It's going to get to somebody who goes, I've got the expendable income to take a flyer on this. I don't know if it's true or not. I've heard it of a friend of a friend of a friend. But you know what? If Pioneer's really coming down the pipe, I know some cards that would be really good in that. I'm going to buy a couple of bricks of each of them just in case, and I'll be ready if Pioneer does pop off. That, I think, happens so much. Look at Modern Horizons 3, y'all. For all intents and purposes, this looks like one of the craziest sets I've seen, period. Hype levels are very high across the board for this one, with me and with all of y'all. I know it. But it's leaking everywhere. You can't keep it in the bucket. It's all just spilling out everywhere. You think if they can't keep the wraps on a major set like that, if they have that much issue keeping that under lock and key, you think that a little secret now and then doesn't pop out that Goblin Ding Dong is going to be printed in late Q4 and we're going to have goblins all over Modern? I think we would all be fooling ourselves if we were like, there's no way this is happening. Everyone acts in the best interest of the group at all times. No, people are going to use information however they're going to use it. They're going to use it to their own gain a lot of times. But do I think that WotC employees have some secret pipeline they're able to insider trade? No, I think it's more likely that Johnny mentions to his mom, hey, Goblin Ding Dong coming down the pipe, and mom says it to somebody at the grocery store talking about Goblin Ding Dong, and then it starts spreading from there until eventually it gets to somebody that could actually use it. Oh, I was talking to Martha at the grocery store, Ricky. Have you heard anything about Goblin Ding Dong? Every week, our enthusiast patrons enjoy a free exclusive video that we don't post anywhere except for the Patreon. You also have the opportunity to get a free pack of sleeves with our custom art for this year, free from Dragon Shield, if you join at that tier. All of the people whose names you're seeing right now are JAJAM enthusiasts, already enjoying their free card sleeves, already enjoying their free video every week. And get this, at any point you join, you've got access to that whole catalog of videos that we have been posting exclusively to the Patreon. Thank you so much to our enthusiast patrons. Seriously, y'all are what help us run this channel. We will catch you in the next video.